but come think of it, they probably will be in some kind of little uniform.
You bet they will. They will.
And they'll have them marching down, and pretty soon they'll be goose stepping.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Well, all right. Bring up the map, because I want to show people this. Because Schenectady is being used. It is, all right, Schenectady County, folks, is over to the right-hand side. It is the smallest of the little pink ones. It's pretty small. You can't even make it out if you're looking at the computer screen. However, it is right on top of Albany. Now, Albany is the state capital. That's where the governor has a lot of events. They often use local police at things like July 4th, Independence Day. They bring in all these other counties' local police. On the other side, by the way, is my county, Montgomery County. So I'm really like smack dab in the middle of this thing. I call up my mother yesterday. I called up my stepfather today. I'm like, listen, and my stepfather's new wife, she's a county judge. I'm like, you need to call this mayor and say that this is not an option no matter what, whether he's saying it's going to be just for a temporary time. I'm like, you're literally talking about troops on the street. And then we have that caller call in. We find the document in about 2 seconds. This hasn't even been voted on yet, but it's up there, and it's been here since the 9th. So it's a week and a half old. I've never heard of this. Your ammunition, your firearms, who you are, who sold it to you, where you're storing it.
This is the Holt bill. This Holt bill, it's named after a young kid in Chicago who was killed by a thug on the subway or whatever. He was trying to protect his girlfriend or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they use these tragedies, and get everybody's emotions up, get their sympathies running, so that they can run through this draconian stuff. Now, hopefully, I think the NRA is all over this, and hopefully any thoughtful person. Here's the deal. Under this law, if you have a .22 rifle that your grandfather gave to you and it's been stored away in the attic for years, and then for some reason you get it out and then the cops find you with it and it's not registered, you're automatically a criminal and subject to heavy fine and even imprisonment.
Yeah.
And what also buried in this law is the fact that if you go to register your gun, then you have to undergo involuntary physical and psychological evaluation. And so, hey, Jason, figure that out, Well, Jason, do you feel like that 9/11 might have been an inside job? Well, yeah, the evidence points that way. Oh, well, listen, we're going to have to send you along for further psychological evaluation. And by the way, we've got some Prozac we need to put you on.
Oh, my God.
So we can see where this is going now. I would think that like on this Holt bill and on some of the stuff they're proposing in Congress, hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and they'll gut a lot of that, and they'll cut out a bunch of the more, egregious stuff. But the problem is they're still making another step ahead, and then next year will be another step, and a couple of years will be another step. And the next thing you know, we're going to be in a 1984 Orwellian anthill socialist society, and everybody's going to be scratching their head and saying, how did we get here? Mm-hmm. And folks, whoever's listening out there, I'm going to tell you, we're going to get there because nobody's paying attention out there. Okay?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I mean, we're talking about this right now here on this Friday night, and I guarantee you half the town is down on 6th Street partying.
Well,
okay?
yeah, absolutely. And you know
Which is great, but...
Yeah, there's a time and a place. All right, it's the 20th today. This gets voted on in my community 4 days from now. Wow. And this is in 4 days, folks. I'm encouraging people to get down there. This is on the 24th. You can go down to the Albany County legislator, and it'll take effect in 2 months. If they pass this... Oh,
this they're voting for this in New York, right?
This isn't just New York. This is not even New York State. It's just Albany County. And
Albany
County is the county that is...
But that's the capital.
Exactly. It's the biggest threat next to Schenectady County. That's what I'm saying. Albany, in upstate New York, it's a lot of farm culture. I live next to Amish people. It's not a big threat.
Upper state New York is a really beautiful place.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it.
And it's nothing like New York City.
Most people don't understand that, but yeah.
I know. Saying New York State is like New York City is like saying that Central Houston is Texas.
Exactly. But this is a local thing that they'll put in as an ordinance, and then they'll literally know where all the guns are in Albany, which would be the biggest threat to this martial law, because that's the biggest area, the largest area. That's where most of the gun owners are going to be. That's where most of the people with better jobs are going to be,
And how many shooting massacres have we had in Albany?
That's a big zero.
Big zero.
I mean, we've definitely had some robbery, but
why is there a problem there? But, other states are beginning to flex their muscles. I think that it is Montana that has some legislation in place that says if there is a firearm or ammunition made in Montana, it is exempt from any federal firearms law. And folks, this is the type of thing we need to do. We just need to regain our control over our local communities and do what is necessary and what is right and what is proper without losing every one of our liberties.
And I think that's why, Campaign for Liberty is actually targeted on this My Act document that you guys talked about today. It's because that is exactly what that's dedicated to. It's having a government for and by the people again. In other words, you run for city council, you run for your local mayor, you run for your congressional district seat. All right, we're going to come back with your phone calls. It's 866-582-9933. Jim Marrs in studio, the great author and lecturer. Back after this, prisonplanet.tv, Infowars.com. I have promised Mr. Marr. Yeah, you see, you can do it right like that. Now, that we will not go to his video, only because he had to take his hat off so we can hear the callers, but we're going to be taking your calls this entire segment. And the call line is 866-582-9933. All right, let's go to Dan in Florida. Dan, what's on your mind?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I just got a quick two-part question tonight. I know you guys are talking about the New World Order and what they're currently doing and what their current plans are and things like that. And, all with concrete evidence and things. But basically, I'm just wondering, what is the final end of all this stuff? Now, I know there's there's going to be like centralization of power and things like that. But I mean, like, say they were to get that, say you guys in your process of trying to expose it, trying to stop it, were to totally fail, right? And they were to succeed in their agenda and things like that, centralization of power, one world government, one world currency. What comes after that? Now, I know in Alex's movie Endgame, he talks about how these people want to live forever, and I've seen scientifically how they could do that, and how they want to travel the cosmos and things like that. But there's a lot of people that seem to suggest that some of these secret organizations and things like that already have the capabilities of like interstellar travel and traveling through space. So, I mean, why would that be their end goal if they can already do some of that sort of stuff?
Well, are you asking what's their end goal for the Earth?
Well, I mean, for the Earth as well as their agenda. I mean, like I said, I know they want to centralize power and things like that.
Well, now wait a minute. Let me say this. I'm not. Everybody talks about this one world government, and they want one world government. No, they really don't. Okay, that's the reason they had to turn against Soviet communism, because it was threatening to go worldwide. If you want to know what the bottom line is going to be, you need to go back and read a book written in 1948 by a British socialist named Eric Arthur Blair. Now, he wrote under the pen name George Orwell. And, of course, his book was the famous book, 1984. And being closely connected with the Fabian socialists in England, I think he had an insight and an insider's view of what the ultimate game plan was. And if you recall, in 1984, the world was divided into three socialist blocks. They called it Oceania, Asiana, and East Asiana. In today's real world, it's going to be the European Union, the soon-to-be North American Union, and the future Asian Union. And then what they do is they play one block against another one for continual war and stress, so they can keep up profits and keep tight control. That's the bottom line. Now, the movie producer Aaron Russo, who's now deceased, asked one of the Rockefellers, what are you guys up to? And he said that one of the Rockefellers replied, we are going to microchip the population and the wealthy elite will rule the world. That, my friend, is the bottom line.
So, what comes after that, though? I don't really understand.
Well, this is what I think they want to do. First of all, you talked about how they want to, they can already maybe travel the stars. They want to be public with it. And I don't think they can do that with a large population that's not under the control. We're not all chipped yet. But if you can literally control somebody's monetary system, in other words, their means to have food, shelter, a family, a car, all that things with a chip, and then track and trace them, whoever's left is going to be your subservient slaves.
Right.
And they don't intend to have, all of us around. They intend to cut us by 80%.
Their publications, their talks, their informal discussions, interviews, information that's slipped out, they want population reduction. they would like to see the total population of the world down around 500 million people. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what about things like 2012 and stuff like that, Jim? I mean, some people are saying, and there's actually PhD physicists, okay, saying that there could be problems in 2012.
Polar shift and all that other stuff. Well, actually, he's in a new movie called 2012. So if you want to, right now, you can get it. And I thank you for the call because we have other callers. But you can get 2012 right now. You can get Jim Marr's perspective and about a half a dozen to a dozen other people. It's some really interesting people, quantum physicists and all this other stuff.
I think we're going to all be here after 2012.
I also agree.
Okay? But if we're not, then who cares? Because what can we do about it?
I think it's going to be a big profit margin for Hollywood. They're putting out that 2012 movie. Yeah. They put out another one last year. They're going to hype it up and hype it up and hype it up. And then it's going to be just like Y2K. When it doesn't happen, is everybody just going to be like,
yeah, but wait just a minute. Y2K did happen.
Well,
okay?
Yes, that's true.
We had multiple explosions in Texas, derailments, and